What I'm up though, guys, your favorite auditor, audit them, the one who encourages you to audit them. We are in Mount Prospect. We're at the Harper College. Harper College is subject to the Freedom of Information Act, therefore it's a government entity and they're required to display prominently their purpose, operating budget, many items as a requirement. So reception desk is up there. See, so far they have all this stuff displayed, but not the actual
a lot of folks come in taking a different and stand up. I gotta hear that and stand up. I only gotta focus on the people taking right. A lot of folks are taking like they the target. They gotta go the other route until they come from out of that deception. Like the preacher, he got in his hand on the forehead and he take the sickness out of the sick. But that's only Jesus, that's no other man. And I'm telling you, gotta stand honorable or do the task. Or which one did you choose? Keep continuing to do what you do. A lot of folks is in a different thing. I think they fill up. A lot of folks is in a different. I think they screwed. A lot of folks is talking about they got it and the knowledge because it comes to the money. But money doesn't set man apart. Money sets man apart.
We're running to the washroom. Give me a minute here. Let me call this. So we are taking a look at some of these government publications here.
A lot of folks is coward with all that money they devour. Or they devour themselves, they don't got no faith for themselves. What am I telling you? It's nothing new under the sunshine. I'm reading through the manual for you so you could stand up. A lot of folks wanna be
main office reception
all the way around, so I let them just do.
It's closed.
In the end of the occasion,
oh, reception desk is right here, as a matter of fact.
So I could tell you next step, novation. You better be standing up for your inspiration when it comes to the knowledge.
Staff workroom. Tornado shelter, classroom. Okay, like I said, I do not see anything up. So with that being said, let's go to the main desk here. Speak with this gentleman here. Might be able to assist. Hey, how's it going? I'm monitoring government here to ensure it's being conducted in the public interest. I have a few questions here. What's the first name of the FOIA officer? Do you work here?
Yes, I'm one of the students, but if you want to have more information, you can go ahead and talk to my boss right here on this first door.
Sure. Is that door open to the public?
You can stop.
All right.
Should be back.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello.
I'm monitoring government here to ensure it's being conducted in the public interest. This is the boss?
Yeah.
Is the FOIA officer here? Freedom of Information Officer?
Our main campus is in Palatine.
Right.
You're going to need to speak to officials there.
Okay.
Are you with an agency or are you coming as a personal interest, may I ask?
Yeah, that's right. I'm a private person today, just monitoring government. There are specific records that are required to be displayed prominently at this public body, both locations. The purpose of this agency, do you know if that's displayed somewhere prominently along with the total amount of operating budget?
When people have FOIA, oh, I'm being recorded. When people have FOIA requests, that's something that needs to go to our communications
No,
office?
it's not necessarily a FOIA request. This is a requirement.
Well, you're asking about things which I'm an expert, but if you take a seat, I can see if I can help you.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Just sit over there, please.
Sure.
If you want me to take this chair, I can do that way.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Take a look at this meanwhile while I wait here. Oh, here's a Harper College map. Let me take a photo of this. Thank you.
And what is it that you're looking for, or like what is it? more specifically?
So the Freedom of Information Act requires all government agencies, public bodies, which this is, requires them to display prominently their purpose. The purpose of this college campus, do you believe it's somewhere on display?
Specifically what information?
Well, the purpose, a short description of the purpose of this college. That's one of the items. Another thing is the total amount of operating budget is to be displayed prominently as to easily be seen. Do you believe those are on display somewhere, you being a student here?
Somewhere, I believe so, yes.
Where do you believe they are?
Could be, because this is a temporary office.
Right.
This is a student worker, he's not a permanent employee, so I don't think he can answer your questions. Would you please wait until I can speak to him?
Yeah, sure. We're just having a conversation here. That means she don't want you engaging in your First Amendment right to speak. What was her name and title?
Should tell him.
All right. So let me go ahead and pause this while we wait here. Oh, there's a name right there. Let me just take a picture of this right here. That's a cool machine right there. That's an old phone. Wow. Those look like 19-inch rack mounts. All right. Go ahead and finalize my FOIA form here. All right, give me a second here. Let's not forget the first two paragraphs of the FOIA Act, which read, pursuant to the fundamental philosophy of the American constitutional form of government, it is declared to be the public policy of the state of Illinois that all persons are entitled to full and complete information regarding the affairs of government and the official acts and policies of those who represent them as public officials and public employees consistent with the terms of this act. Such access is necessary to enable the people to fulfill their duties of discussing public issues fully and freely, making informed political judgments, and monitoring government to ensure it is being conducted in the public interest. The General Assembly hereby declares that it is the public policy of the state of Illinois that all access by all persons to public records promotes transparency and accountability of public bodies at all levels of government. It is a fundamental obligation of government to operate openly and provide records expedient and efficiently as possible in compliance with this act. Also, this act is not intended to cause an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. Here we want to take a quick look at 735 ILCS 110 Citizens Participation Act. Public policy pursuant to the fundamental philosophy of the American constitutional form of government, it is declared to be the public policy of the state of Illinois that constitutional rights of citizens and organizations to be involved and participate freely in the process of government must be encouraged and safeguarded with great diligence. The information, reports, opinions, claims, arguments, and other expressions provided by citizens are vital to effective law enforcement, the operation of government, the making of public democracy. The laws, courts, and other agencies of the state must provide the utmost protection for the free exercise of those rights of petition, speech, association, and government participation. Hey, how's it going?
She in the meeting?
And then we
think so. Everyone's gone, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure everyone was gone.
So with that being said, like I said, if they did have these records indeed. Yes.
Hi. Okay, so I verified that if it's related to a FOIA element, then I can give you the contact information for our head of communications.
Sure.
But we're not staffed in the same way that I'd be able to proceed without guidance as to the other questions you were asking. Would you give me a minute to find a blank piece of paper
Yes.
for you? This is not our typical office, so that's where I
Okay.
usually sit. And I was in a meeting, so you're probably trying to get in on the phone. I hope we can settle what your concerns are enough to have follow-up.
Okay, there's records, ma'am. The purpose of this college has to be displayed prominently, along with the total amount of operating budget has to be on display.
Okay, and that is something that you're asking. All right, well,
I can give you the
Please,
code that refers to it.
truly, not, and I mean no disrespect.
That way you could
This is-
forward it over and try to get these things revolved. What's your title here?
My name's Jennifer Brennan. I'm the senior manager here.
Senior manager,
Yes,
right.
I am.
So the right thing to do, ma'am, is be transparent and open here. As
This is not
a
my area
government.
of expertise, so I do
Yeah.
not want to misinform either, and I think I hope you understand.
No, all I'm asking for, ma'am, if you would like to take a note of the code that I'm referring to, so that way this
Sure.
agency would be compliant with that portion of the law.
Please go ahead and tell me what that is.
Sure, it's 5 ILCS.
One, actually, sorry, I'm getting another piece of paper because I'm going to give you this one.
Sure. I actually
Repeat
also,
again.
yeah, so it's 5 ILCS
Mm-hmm.
140/4.
Yes. You're saying that that is purpose and,
So there's 9 records that have to be on display. One of them is going to be the purpose of this agency.
yes.
One of them is going to be the total amount of operating budget,
Mm-hmm.
approximate number of full-time, part-time employees at this location,
Okay.
boards and commissions, advisory council information, your block diagram giving its functional subdivisions.
Okay.
Yep. And it's all listed under that section there.
Am I just giving you this contact information, or are you giving me yours?
No, what I'm going to be doing, ma'am, is I'm going to be handing you over a FOIA request that I already have filled out.
I seriously do not receive that. That's why you have this information.
No, ma'am. Here, there's a right and there's a wrong. If you would let me finish speaking here.
Yes, please.
Section 3. You said officer?
I said, could you get our officer? We are in construction. He's in another part of the building.
Which officer? FOIA officer?
No, sir. We have a police officer.
What would you need police for?
I'm feeling uncomfortable. I don't feel unsafe, but I just would like to. We are in construction in 2 areas of the building. This is not a space I know. This is not a conversation I know well.
So what would the police have to do anything with, like, do you believe a crime is afoot?
No, no, I do not.
Okay.
Please, but I am not going to. This is just not my area of expertise. I communicated
Okay.
directly with the director of communications for Harper College.
I hear what you're saying. There's a right and there's a wrong, ma'am, if you would let me finish speaking here. This college is considered a public body belonging to the tax-paying government.
Sure.
Under Section 3C requires the public body, upon receiving a FOIA request, has a duty to immediately forward over the request to its FOIA officer. That's all it's calling for. All you would have to do is actually take these 2 pages of my FOIA
All right.
and forward them over. That's all.
If you know that, that's fine.
Yeah, because here's the code. It's on my FOIA form already.
Understood.
It's right there, yeah.
Are you going to want this information from the director of communications then? Because I do believe she is our FOIA officer.
Yeah, well, I'm going to hand you a copy of this. If I could receive a copy stamped of these 2 pages, that it's just a stamp received. And I think that'll be in good hands.
So this is our officer. I just asked if you could come, but he's concerned that I'm saying it's an unsafe environment. It's just a gentleman who's asking about FOIA, and I explained that I told our director of communications. So he's asking me to receive it, which is all right by me, since he said you're explaining.
Well, here it is, yeah.
But I'm basically just told to give the information of the director of communications. So that's all there is.
Okay.
And then it's supposed to be stamping this and receiving, so it's not part of our typical process. I don't know, with a witness of an officer, will that suffice?
Well, ma'am, are you saying this college does not have a date stamp, like some type of press stamp that has the date on it, or a receive stamp?
We are in the midst of construction. This is a temporary office, so that type of thing isn't something I have available to me right now. We have things packed away.
Right. You don't have no stamps
I
at
don't
all
have
because
it
it's
right
packed
here,
away.
and I do not.
If you handwrite the date and received, then maybe your name should be good enough. That way I know it's in public trust here.
But you're taking that with you, or you're having
No.
me deliver it?
No, ma'am. If you're able to make me a copy of this 2-page, that way I keep a copy of my original and you have a copy for your record.
Harper, Maytime.
Thank you.
Sure.
Would you?
Yeah. So here it is here. And ma'am, let me explain to you what I'm requesting.
Sir, I opened the door because you knocked, but I was in a meeting, so I had to cancel that.
Okay.
I do actually have,
You have a meeting.
yes.
I like to request those minute meetings maybe at a later time. I'd like to do an inspection on your minute meetings, but I'll probably put that as a later time, so please preserve those records.
That's a private meeting I'm covering for someone today. This is my
Where are you
regular
going
working
with all
time.
this? I'm kind of confused.
Well,
I'm
that
gonna
response.
copy this off of the machine.
Doesn't it usually go to W though?
Oh, you would.
He was asking me to receive it for him, so I will.
Okay.
Officer, since your body camera is on here, would you like to have a word?
No?
You would not?
Why am I talking to you?
Because the reason you wanted to know what you're standing here for, right? I'm going to be handing you a FOIA request as well, officer. I have one already filled out for you.
I'm not saying anything.
No, you don't have to sign. We're going to take it under, you're an honorable man, under good trust.
Hello? Yeah, it's Randy. Oh, okay. It's 107 at LCC.
Excuse me, miss. Where's the actual police station office for this college, in case this officer here does not want to comply with the law?
Would you like the one with the hole punch or not?
Yes, mine is the original.
And when write received and my name.
Sure.
Received, not reviewed, if you understand.
Yes. But ma'am, you know that calling the police with no emergency could be construed as a disorderly conduct, which is a breach of peace.
I hope you see that I'm trying to be peaceful and cooperate right now, so that's
Well, it doesn't
your
seem that
interpretation.
way by the police officer being a little bit combative without even wanting an understanding of both parties. He just wants to hear your side of the story, and he refused to give me a listen to what I'm here for. And as a matter of fact, I wanted to capture on his body cam that the employees here are in breach of peace and committing a felony as we speak by concealing public records.
That is not how we
Yeah,
have
so now I'm going to
debated
ask
this
for,
discussion, sir.
it's not a debate, ma'am. These are avertments here of facts. So now we're going to ask this officer to call his higher up because he's doesn't want to verify both sides of the party. So I'd like to,
Get from me as a report number.
I'd like to cite my side of the story here. He's being a little, we'll wait. We'll wait later until he calls the supervisor.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Citizens Assist.
All right, so
Do you have a business card?
I would prefer not to give you my business card. I don't need to be contacted privately for this.
No, it's not a private. You're a government employee, ma'am. It's all public.
Which is why you could write the school and the agent that I gave you.
Right, okay. But like I said, I'm going to be requesting those minute meetings.
I said it's a private meeting.
Well, I would have to have that in writing. You got to articulate
Then
that.
we will meet the standard by law.
Okay, great. So with that being said, I'm going to also be handing over the police officer.
So what's this? What's he disputing about?
He wants certain to verify certain elements here that have to do with FOIA. So I called the director of communications about it, and she said that I can give him information. He's asking me to give him something that he says has a time clock on it, so I'm receiving it. I wrote received, not reviewed, and I'll get it over to the director of communications.
Do you care to hear my side of the story, officer, or you would just want to be one-sided?
Relax.
I am
All right?
relaxed.
No, you're not. You're very tense. I can hear it in your tone of voice.
Oh, well, you started off that way,
No, I
that
did
cocky
not.
attitude. Yes, you
No.
did.
Is this some kind of college administration stuff that he's asking for? Or?
You're asking the wrong party. You should ask for the source, that the person that's here for what he's here for. But I guess everybody has their chance to speak, right? So when you're finished with yours, I'll give him my word.
Okay, you got to give me your name and stuff.
Okay, well, name, what do you need? This act is
So
not,
you're refusing?
wait a minute,
You're refusing?
sir.
Either give me a name or you refuse.
It's not a refusal, it's not required. This
Refusal.
this act is not intended to cause an unwarranted invasion on private.
It's a refusal.
No, it's not required.
Okay. All right. But just so you know, it's a simple question, name.
It's not required. This
Why?
act is not intended to cause an unwarranted invasion on personal privacy. Officer, you know what you are? You are a POS, which is a public official servant. You are an honorable POS. You are an honorable public official servant. And I'm just asking you to call your sergeant, please, because I need to speak with him. He may be willing.
We'll help you with this.
He may be willing to assist upon your procedure. You're an honorable man.
In what?
Well, I got to share my side of the story, right? You're refusing
You're
to.
basically here to get paperwork.
No, sir. You refuse to hear my side of the story. Therefore, I'd like to ask to speak with your superior, Mr. Honorable Officer.
You could probably do that over at the Harper PD if you wish.
Okay, well, is it a part of your duty
It's
to?
on the business card if you want.
No, sir. I'm going to be handing you a FOIA request dedicated for the police. Here's the thing. Here's what's happening here today.
Well, I don't do FOIA requests. That's all at the.
I hear you,
Harper College
sir.
Police Department.
Sir,
Anything FOIA, I can't even answer questions what's ever on the report.
sir.
Everything is administrative.
Under the law, you have a duty to simply forward over the request to the appropriate custodian of record, which is the
I don't
FOIA
have
officer.
access to that.
You do have access. Once you get back to the PD, you just have
I'm
to
not going
hand
back
them.
to the PD. I'm here to stay right here.
Okay, well, you have access
You
to.
can go to the PD though. and
Sir.
be sure. No, I'm trying to help you so. we
No,
can reduce
sir.
the amount of
Can I
foot
state my
work
purpose here? Could you give me a
If
chance
you
to speak?
wish,
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. I'm glad your body camera's going as well.
Okay.
So under Section 4 of the Freedom of Information Act, requires public bodies to prominently display specific records, one of them being the purpose of this college. It's nowhere to be found, on the wall nowhere. The purpose, the total amount of operating budget is supposed to be displayed prominently. It's nowhere to be found.
Okay.
Block diagram giving its functional subdivisions is another item. Boards and commissions, advisory body, approximate number of full-time and part-time employees. There's a list of 9 items that are required to be displayed prominently. They're not.
Okay.
So by the time, you really seems like you don't care about your body language. But regardless, you're still an honorable.
I'm not in control of the situation.
No, but you're in control of investigating.
No, I'm not going to be investigating. This is for administrative stuff.
Right.
There's not much for me to investigate.
You were called
If
here
you want
for a
FOIA,
reason.
you just go down to the PD, you fill out forms.
Where is the PD located?
It's on that business card. You know where Harper College main campus is?
No, I hear you, sir. I hear you.
I want to make sure it's accurate. Can I see it?
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to put you wrong. Yeah, that's accurate. 1200
Okay.
West Algonquin Road.
Sir, I have a FOIA
Here's my
form.
name.
I hear you, sir. I hear you.
There's the address.
Okay,
That's where you get your FOIA information from.
right.
If you want police-related matters, that's where you gotta go.
So-
I can't help you here.
Sir,
And I'm not gonna call a sergeant over here. You would have to go over
no,
there to do it.
no, sir, I'm
Okay,
asking for a
trying to
sergeant.
Reduce the amount of time for you.
Is it not part of your policy upon request to call a sergeant? Can you please call a sergeant here on scene?
Why would I call a sergeant here?
Because a member of the public, private person is requesting a sergeant. Per your policy, you're required to do so.
And
We have to
what's my
escalate.
reasoning for him to come?
Well, we have to
Because if
escalate
he's
this.
gonna, because his FOIA is all down there as well. There's not
Sir,
much he can
I
do from
prefer to
here.
speak, I just want you to follow your policy. You have a policy to abide by.
What's my policy?
Your policy says that you are to call a higher up upon request by a member of the
Let me see
public.
that policy that says that.
Okay, well, we could, so you're,
I wanna
are
see
you
that
claiming,
policy.
are you claiming you're not required?
Not for this, no.
Okay, because sir, it seems like you're being biased here. You're only
I'm not being
one-sided.
biased, I'm being honest.
And I don't even know why the police were called and involved here. Do you believe your presence here is needed today as a law enforcement officer?
Yes.
For what condition?
What do you mean?
What would be the reason why you think you would need to be present here? Ma'am, are you taking digital image?
I took a picture of this and I'm sending it to our head.
Oh, I hear
It's
you,
your
ma'am.
report number.
I hear what you're saying, officer.
It's gonna be a brief report, and it's not gonna be much to say, other than I stood by while.
And
you
what, under what,
handled some type of FOIA through the college administration.
right, and under what
Now, if you want
authority?
some sort of police-related FOIA, you have to go down to the college.
No, sir, I could
Police
give you my
department.
statement, you have a duty to forward over a
You gotta do
report.
that there.
Okay, so under what authority or
'Cause I don't have any access.
Sir?
We already covered this.
Sir?
We're going in circles.
No,
here.
I have a follow-up question.
There's a follow-up to all those circle questions you've been asking?
It's not a circle question,
Go
sir.
ahead, I'm listening. I'm listening.
So under what jurisdiction or authority do you believe you require my name?
I can ask for your name.
Right, but you can't claim it's refused because
Well,
if
you
it's
don't
not,
give me your name, it's gonna go down as refused.
but it's not a requirement, so
I'm
why
not
would
gonna
you believe
debate
it's a
this
refusal?
with you, okay, it's simple.
No, there's no debate
It's
here.
really simple. This is a simple thing.
Okay,
You
great.
can give out the name, or
So
you don't
your
give out
name,
the name.
your name is RH, right?
Randolph Hyde.
Yeah, okay, great. So that's what I'm gonna include here on the FOIA, if you would, I'm gonna
You got the
hand,
report number on the business.
right, I'm gonna hand you this FOIA, and if you would please just forward
I'm
it
not
over.
gonna do any- oh, You can do that over at.
No, that's why I'm asking for your superior now, your sergeant, because you're
Well,
failing
that's
to
where you can
comply.
meet the sergeant over there.
No, sir, that's an inconvenience. I don't have to
We're
go
not gonna
out of
call
my
him
way.
here for this either,
Well, I
because
would
he
call
doesn't
and
have
request the
control.
sergeant. I'll
We're
call
going in
myself.
circles.
I'll call myself.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Madam Clerk, I don't know what your title is. You're not being forthcoming or transparent. You folks are, as a matter of fact, I just asked for your business card. You're unwilling to provide that. You told me that you're have a private minute meetings, that's unheard of because.
No,
I said
that's
my
quite a
meeting is
bit.
private, which
They
is
have a
why
lot
they're
of
not
meetings here.
minutes.
Right, but the meeting minutes are subject to public disclosure.
There's meetings all over the place.
Yeah,
What are you
according
talking about?
to the Open
What does
Meetings
your business
Act.
and meetings have to do with any of all this?
Because
This is a
it's-
real simple process. You fill out the paperwork, I would like a FOIA for all the information, and they do the legwork. If you want FOIA stuff, that's over at the police department, fill out that paperwork, they'll do what they
But
need to
that's
do.
where you're wrong at, and I'm
You're
asking
coming
for
the
your
wrong section for
sergeant.
all this.
No, it's not a wrong section. So, Madam Clerk, as I was saying, because these records are not displayed, it's a requirement. So just have it in your compassion as a fellow human being that in another week or so, when your boss calls you up, as you being an honorable manager here, you have the wherewithal and the intelligence to say, you know what, this gentleman was in the right. Let's go ahead and print out these 8 pieces of paper and tape them up somewhere on the wall to give an opportunity for all students to see how accountable and transparent this college is. Your purpose of this college, a short description, is nowhere to be found. Your operating budget's nowhere to be found. Why are the doors even open if you're concealing these records, which are so important?
Those are words that
There's a right and
carry
there's a wrong.
weight, sir.
There's a right and there's a wrong.
I am taking this, as I've told you, where I
Yes.
said I would, which is our appropriate channel.
Which is a duty under law. At
And we
first,
are-
you didn't want to, but then I pointed out the code to you. Same as the
Because I'm a
officer.
person whose opinion can change in information, but I would like to ask if
Okay.
this is what we need right now.
Sure, yeah, that's on that side. Now I do also, since the police got involved, I'd like to also hand over a police officer my FOIA. If he's unwilling, Madam Clerk, I'll
Not
ask.
unwilling, I never said that. I told you, the best place to go is
No,
the police.
sir, it's not the best place. It's according to the law. It says it here. Under section 3C says, upon a public body receiving a FOIA request, it has a duty to immediately forward it over to its Freedom of Information officer.
I'm not the Freedom of Information
No,
officer.
sir, you're not. You have a duty to forward it over to the Freedom of Information officer. I never said you were. I said you have a
Oh, I see
duty.
what you're talking about.
Sure, absolutely.
Because normally people just go over to the police
That's
department, fill out
normally,
the
sir. That's
paperwork,
not.
and-
What what the law writes. Normally is not a.
These are the
Fact.
2 matters that would be resolved if you have that in receipt, like I did
That's
with
all I
this.
needed,
Let's do
ma'am.
it, let's go.
And I'm gonna call it a day.
I'm already halfway there. I'll
Okay,
take it to the office.
so section 3C, officer, and guys, when you see my videos online, I'm building allies with the members of public.
Oh, yeah.
I have so many agencies that I got them to perform their job because citizens have to check balances with government. Here's 3C, my friend. Let me stand up and show you right now. I want you to do it. You are an honorable officer.
To any person
No, that's
who-
not it. This
Well,
is
why
not,
is it highlighted
sir,
in yellow?
Sir, please
You
be
highlight-
patient.
you-
That's a different part, sir. Here it is. All requests for inspection and copying received by a public body shall immediately be forwarded over to its Freedom of Information officer or designee.
Well, I'm not a designee.
No, sir, it's to be forwarded over to the FOIA officer or their designee. Here's the law. It's under section 3C.
So what, you got some paperwork
Yes.
you want to fill out and I give it over to them?
That's
That
all.
I could do.
That's all it was.
But I can't provide you any information.
No,
Only they can
sir,
do it.
that's right.
So fill out whatever you
Okay,
want,
great.
and I'll turn it over to them.
That's all I was asking.
So,
And you
That's
being
I already did for his first thing.
yes, but that's for the college. This is
I
a
said
separate.
That's what I'm already
Yeah.
doing for the first thing.
I hear
said
you, ma'am.
The manner is being
But what-
reproduced.
All right, let me fill this out.
Let's
Give me a
go ahead and do
second.
that, and
All
I
right.
would recommend at this point, then we just, if that's all there is,
Yeah, just
then
That's all
let's
it is.
satisfy this request and move on.
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, it could have been a 5-minute visit for this college, but
people usually go to
It is
meetings or so.
disconcerting to have you not reveal your identity and have a large binder and me to, want to just be sure that we're maintaining a safe environment.
well,
I
ma'am,
hope
you
can
said
understand.
reveal my identity, but the actual Freedom of Information Act says this act is not intended to cause an unwarranted invasion on personal privacy. So you don't have the right to ask me for my personal information.
I said it was based on my understanding that I felt personally somewhat
But-
uncomfortable that I sought an officer. It
Okay.
is not to escalate beyond that.
Yeah,
I'm
well-
talking about you. I'm talking about my perspective as an individual.
There's a right and there's a wrong, Madam Clerk. And hopefully in the foreseeable future, maybe in 5-10 days, you folks have all these things up. That's all. Your purpose. Come on.
Come on, what?
I have no.
Post it.
I have no
That's
expertise.
required by law.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Focus.
It's fine. Let's
All
move
right,
on.
all
We'll
right,
take our
guys.
time.
Give me a second here. Let me finish filling out this paperwork here. So we're saying February. Alrighty. 2 PD, yeah, police, and we're gonna put Harper College. Harper College. And the officer that I handed the form to
They haven't
is
had anything to me yet.
I'm about to.
All right.
You'll be surprised, officer. And again, you are an honorable POS, which is a public official servant. You're an honorable man.
POS has another meaning to it as well, you know.
It means public official servant.
Okay.
Can you please? tell
Someone
me-
who serves the public with honorability.
Can you clarify how you spell the email address? Is that an A-L-O-A or is it
Yes,
an
ma'am.
O-G?
Yes, that's log, Log, SOR. SOR stands for System of Records.
All right.
All right. And that's at Proton. Incident location. The incident location is this college here, which is,
Why don't you write down this?
oh, it is. It is.
I was saying you can use it for reference.
Say that again, ma'am?
I was saying you could use it for reference.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. So, like sometimes it might be that the employees want to huff and puff and not understand what my purpose is. Like I said, 10 days down the line when you folks post everything up, it's gonna be he was in the right, the guy. Time of encounter, we're gonna say with the officer was from 3:40 p.m. to, let's say I'll be out of here in the next 5 minutes, 4:15. So 4:15 p.m. Officer name is, that's a cool name. That's like the street in downtown. Okay, star number, sir.
810.
810. Vehicle number, I don't got that.
You don't need the vehicle number.
Well,
How's that related?
at this time it's not.
We shared vehicles. You got like
Okay.
10 other officers sharing one car.
And also, we're going to need your personnel. Here it's what it's calling for. It needs a copy of your personnel file, oath of office, and bond. What's the amount on your bond? What's the amount coverage?
What are you talking about?
Your bond, when you solemnly swore to uphold the United States Constitution, and you have a bond which is like an insurance, BOND.
You know what bond is?
Yeah, surety
Pardon
bond.
me, may I have a word?
Yeah.
You're asking for police-specific information from someone, whereas I said I would receive something that I could put forward to our FOIA agent. Those are not the same thing in my eyes. So,
No, yours is separate, ma'am.
But I am trying to
Yeah.
advocate for people at Harper as well, that I don't see why this individual, otherwise appropriately identified, has to give you
That's
additional
all you
information.
need.
No, it's
That's
just
all
the
you can
question,
get.
ma'am.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why I said the
Yeah.
expertise that lies in our FOIA officers area is where I'd prefer to get this and have you do follow-ups and details that you're missing at the time.
Ma'am, do you know how many FOIA officers and attorneys were in the wrong? They created training after my visits. Look at the Lake County Bar Association.
Mhm.
They did an entire training. Basically, I go into government and make them spend money because they're in the wrong, so we have to get them in the right.
I'm speaking about
Yeah,
a couple
there's a
of
right and there's
pieces
wrong.
here, and if you want me to receive, or us to receive this and pass it along, it will be the FOIA officer that can give you appropriate
Okay,
information.
ma'am, yes, ma'am, your job is fulfilled and I'm thankful and I'm grateful. Thank you for that. I'm just gonna hand this over to the officer and that's all. Officer, okay, please provide all these to my email. Here's my email.
This is get turned over to administration, who will handle your inquiries.
Sir, police department has their own separate freedom of information officer. All of these requirements that this college has
Just
to have.
explain what I'm gonna do with that form.
Okay, sir.
It's
All
gonna get turned over to the administrator.
next week or in 2 weeks, I have to go over to your police department so I could make sure that the police has their items up as well.
Okay.
Because I developed my own checklist here, madam, that you're not sure with right now, that I didn't show you. This is a checklist. I'm about to mark everything. No, it's being concealed. I have a right to forward that over.
You are using the word concealed, which is not something that I agree with. I am just simply trying to
Okay.
get you to the right authority to
Well,
address your concern.
if the records are not concealed, where are they? In whose possession, in whose custody are these appropriate records at?
I'm not going to entertain all the details at this stage. You can, if you put it in here, then they'll be considered by our person.
Well, here's the thing. If the records were up according to the law, we would not even have this conversation. I would have came in here, took a digital image, and thank you guys so much for being so transparent and forthcoming. But right now we have to go back and forth on this debacle. Unnecessary debacle.
I'm explaining the process I'm comfortable adhering with.
Okay, ma'am, I hear you. You are wonderful. Okay. So, officer, here's my 4-page. It's 4 requests that I'm requesting from the police. Which one of them, officer, is your body-worn camera? It's indicated in here. I am a subject of this encounter. That means I'm entitled to receive that video footage.
That goes through FOIA?
Yes, sure. I hear you, officer. My second report is going to be your call, report, and call event number. Whoever got on the phone.
You have the report number.
Yes, but
It's on the card.
yes.
All right,
That's just a number.
Let's kind of wrap this up.
Sure, that's just a number. I need the actual
That is
report.
the report number.
Right, that's the
what you
report
need.
number, but that's not a
How it
listing
works,
of
you
what's.
call up and say, I need a report number 25
Sir, I know how it works. Other than that,
Why are
sir,
we having this conversation
Yeah.
if you know how it works?
my third request
Fill
is
out
going
what
to
you
be.
want to be done, and I'll turn it over to
Okay.
our
My
administrators.
third request is going to be the personnel file, oath of office, and bond. And the fourth request is the actual audio call. I got to be able to hear who called the police, their voice, and all that. Because if it's ground for disorderly conduct, which is a breach of peace, I would have to do some.
Sir, may I
Disorderly
explain?
conduct.
I am
We
listening.
have
Yeah, disorderly conduct is a breach of peace, and or when someone calls the police under a false police report.
It's not a false
Sir,
police report.
excuse me.
I'm listening.
All right, let's wrap
I
this up.
verbally asked one of my staff members to seek our police officer who sits normally at next to my office.
I'm listening. I am
said we have
listening.
construction. So he went and sought him personally.
Okay.
There is no call, there is no report of that regard.
Yeah, but
The
my peace was
classification on
breached.
this is called citizens assist.
Sure, he unlocks doors, he accompanies
Okay.
people, he answers questions, he visits here frequently.
But ma'am,
And I expressed to you why I asked him
right,
to come.
but you can't tell me how I feel if I feel uncomfortable or if I feel
Understood.
that my peace was breached.
And there we are.
Because here is
Let's see
the
what we can-
actual, here's the disorderly conduct code.
Okay, I can tell that we could
Yeah.
go into a lot of appendices. I would just like to
Right.
receive the papers
Sure.
and get the
And
process
beyond
moving.
that,
Can we wrap this up?
yes, beyond that, officer, since these records are not displayed prominently, this is also an official misconduct, whereas a government employee intentionally or recklessly fails to perform a mandatory duty required by law. Here is that portion here, official misconduct.
Can you give me the
Sure.
paperwork so I can turn it over to my
Okay.
administrators?
Madam Clerk,
really that
if you
simple.
will, it's up to you. You did your part by providing a copy for your paperwork. Could you provide me a copy for their?
Yes, I will do
I
it
think
exactly the same, and I don't think he needs to sign it. I would receive it
No,
or
that's
send
not
it to our person.
Sure,
That's not
sure,
gonna work.
All right.
Yeah.
One moment, please.
sure, thank you. Mr. Harper, let me go ahead and put your business card here in my business card holder in my binder, which anybody could obtain this binder after they join the membership. Just a little promo for my channel, you know. Officer, you don't care. You really don't. You have gray hairs of wisdom. You maybe want to retire in a couple years. But just think for your children's sake. We need an honorable government. We need an honorable government. We need a fair government. We need to see the purpose of this college for our young students here to walk in and out and see what the total amount of operating budget is. Your block diagram giving its
You're in
function.
the wrong location, though.
No,
That's
it's
the
not.
thing.
Sir, each public body, there's a right and there's a wrong.
I don't have access to that stuff.
I never said you did.
And the right thing is you usually go to the main building.
That's not
to
the right thing. You're
administration.
saying maybes, sir. I have the law
The
here
other
in my
part
packet.
Where you go to the police station and you talk to the administrators. I mean, you're coming out, this is my assigned duty out here.
I hear you, officer.
I
You
don't
are,
have
you are,
access to any records.
I never
I
said you
don't
did.
have the ability to redact anything. I don't have any ability to, we have, I believe, 2 people assigned to that, maybe?
You
Maybe
are
more.
an honorable
So
officer.
that's all you really gotta think about.
That's all it is. And ma'am, what was your name? Madam Clerk? A laptop? Yes, ma'am.
I should have signed the original, and I didn't, I mean, like, I'd like to copy that, please, again. I'll put my signature here and I'll
Sure.
copy your originals rather than leave a blank behind, you know what I'm saying? May I
Okay.
have the earlier, please?
Say that again.
Because wait a minute.
That's your copy.
I was trying to make them consistent with one another, so if I could make a
No,
photocopy
no,
of
no,
one
no.
that has the received that I signed.
Oh, you gave me
Follow?
that. Yeah.
Exactly. I'd like
Okay.
to run that through as my copy so that it's, what goes in your hands is what I have. As
Oh,
well.
I hear
Do
you. Yes,
understand?
ma'am. Yes.
I realized that when I ran this,
But
I copied
ma'am,
it. And,
these 2 requests are for 2 separate public bodies. One of them is for the college, one of them is for college police.
would you be satisfied if I said that I can work with the officer and the police to get it where it needs to go?
I trust you on that.
Thank you.
And now let me hand you a copy of the stamped ones. Where did we put those? Oh, it's
Sign
right
each
here, I'm
page
sorry.
like this?
Yeah,
Would you
Please.
prefer I do that?
that's fine, that's fine. Here's my original that you signed, if you wanted to scan a copy of your,
That's what I'm
yes,
asking.
yes.
Thank you.
And then I always say the quote, today I'm just acting as a private person today. That's not saying that in the foreseeable future I may be in office, right? Governor, who knows?
It's democracy.
No, it's not a democracy, this is a republic.
Republic. Taking political science.
I gotta admit,
Would
for
you
the
like
people
to be-
watching, the police officer, he came in a little one-sided biased. For the people watching.
No.
Is this a live stream?
I'm not gonna confirm nor deny.
He basically said it was. I heard you.
Not gonna confirm nor deny.
Okay.
I'm waiting on my copies and I think I'll be all set, Madam Clerk. Does the college have a planner for people? Like a calendar planner, monthly? But what was the reason why you refused to call your superior, your supervisor here, your sergeant?
You wanna see the supervisor? I've heard of FOIA, but this person has
Okay.
been required to
Did you
do
know if I
something.
have everything you
Yes,
asked
yes.
for there?
Here's the 4-pager and here's the 2-pager. Yep, let me put these in my binder. I think I'm all good.
Am I supposed to be giving somebody something here?
No,
I have it here and we can work it out when he's.
I can't, cause all I do is just give it to our administrators.
I took a photo and I already passed to Kim Pohl. You have her information, correct?
Okay.
yes,
Yes.
ma'am, are you going to be handing the officer his police paperwork forward?
I
Or
was
are you
thinking I
gonna-
could do the same thing and
Oh.
put it in that same direction,
gonna
but I mean, I
forward
won't
bo-
do.
I
You know
prefer,
what, I'll pick it up from the table. and
yeah, I
give it to
prefer
you.
the officer take my
He
paperwork.
wants to do it.
Because he's going back to the police staff.
Not right away.
By the end of the day. Anyway, the clock does not
Regardless,
start.
let's,
The
if you
clock
want to
does-
send it in, sure.
The clock
He
does
can
not
go.
start until tomorrow. Oh, that's my phone.
Oh, excuse me, I honestly, mine's not in the case, I thought it was mine.
Yes. All right. I
All
think
right.
I'm all set. Have a wonderful day, guys. Guys,
Here.
please, in the next 5-10 days, have the stuff up. I'll be back in the foreseeable future.
We will.
Just take images and say, hey, these folks are all right. These folks are transparent. Thank you. All right. So that's the college here campus. And you see that one turned into a back and forth debacle. We didn't have to waste all that time if these people had everything up. That cop, like I said, he's an honorable POS, which is a public official servant. Anyway, guys, Until the next one, you guys leave feedback in the comment section. Audit them, the one who encourages you to audit them.